Okay, how should I price my coaching packages?
Yeah, we get this question a lot, don't we?
This is such a good question.
All the time. So I might have some more questions for you rather than answers, but anyone who's listening and thinking about how to price their coaching packages, one question for you to think about, I think it's an interesting one, is what would you pay? What would you pay yourself for a coaching session? And even if your target audience is potentially people that are different from you, I think it's really important for us to think about this, because we want to get into an abundance mindset, don't we? You know, and putting out there what we want to attract. And I think that helps you to give some answers around, you know, if you're not willing to pay $3.50 an hour, and I'm not saying that's what you should be pricing your coaching session at, but if you're pricing your own packages, but you wouldn't be prepared to pay that, what makes a difference in why your clients would be willing to pay that? So I think that self-discovery piece and exploring that is really important. The other thing is to not get overwhelmed by the vast array of information that you might receive and what you're going to hear out there. You might already be doing some market research. Ashley and I will talk about that in a minute. Yet there are loads of programs out there, and some of them are great, but where there will be business coaches that are going to help you to brand and put your packages together. And there might be prices that are causing you some discomfort. And I know Ashley's probably got some things to say around that, but I've been there and done that. I've priced my programs at all different kinds of prices and price points. And I think for you to think about, I've got a quick formula for you to think about as well. So I'll get to the formula in a minute, but like, who's your clientele? One of the things that I like to look at is affordability. And affordability doesn't mean being cheap. My motto with my coaching practice is I like to make my coaching affordable as part of somebody's lifestyle. You know, actually, I am blessed. I work with a lot of execs and I work with corporations. So what I might charge a corporation is different to what I'm going to charge a client, because they do have a bigger budget and they have, you know, kinds of different parameters around the coaching. And also I'm showing up very differently when I'm going in as a coach into an organization. That's independently when I'm contracting. But if you're thinking with working with an individual, as I say, one of the formulas for me is to make my vision and purpose is to make coaching accessible to all. And for me, it's really important that affordability is part of that. So, and I do a lot of work with women in leadership. And when we talk about it, they have coaching subscriptions with me that it's no different to what they might pay for their hair or nails or self-care treatment. So that's how I like to think about pricing my coaching, because I want to make it accessible and I don't want to outprice people out of being able to have coaching, because I believe in coaching that much. I also have subscriptions that are run. And then a quick formula to think about and see if this works for you is, what do you want to make in a year? See, like an ideal amount, I don't know, I would love to make $100,000 a year. Okay, we'll divide that by 12. What is that? And those are your months, divide it by your weeks, like how many weeks, divide it by the days, 5 days, divide it approximately by 8 hours. I don't know, what does that work out to be? Approximately $60 an hour. I know as a coach, you're not potentially going to be working 8 hours a day coaching. So maybe you can top that up with a bit of a premium, because you are paying for your own healthcare and your own business admin and systems and things. But that was just a quick formula I wanted to throw out at people. It gives you an hourly rate.
Yeah, I think it's
What are your
brilliant.
thoughts, Ashley?
Well, I have a question for you. What was one of the biggest lessons that you learned when you were first starting your coaching business in relation to your pricing structure and how you did that?
Don't listen to all of the noise out there. Don't get sucked into keeping your coaching prices reasonable, as I said, means that you are cheap or that you are not being valuable or you're not applying your own value. So I learned a lot. I work, you know, this is when I first moved to States and I worked with a business coach. I have charged $500 an hour for a coaching session. It's not sustainable. it wasn't for me. If it is for other people, that's wonderful, but I just want to share kind of my experience. You are having to put so much work in then, if you are looking for clients yourself, to market and get a client at that price point. And if I'm telling you, if I'm paying that much an hour, you want a premium, different kind of service. And I think that puts pressure on coaches to pull them out of true coaching as well, because then there's all kinds of expectations. So I did that for a while. It was great. You know, I sold programs at $1,000. I got clients. It just didn't feel good to me. It didn't feel right in my gut. And it was a lot of hard work marketing your services as an individual at that rate. One of the things I have learned, and I've said this before, if everyone else is zigging, you got to zag. So I'm like, if this is happening here, what do I really want to look like? And what do I want to offer people? And truth known, when I not even halved, I quartered my prices, everything just went up. And, you know, coaching doesn't have to be long-term, of course, but I have clients that want to work with me every 2 weeks and have worked with me for a long time, or they want 30-minute session every week, and we call them their emotional fitness session. And they're good with that because it is within their price range. And I'd personally rather keep my prices, as say, more affordable, because I always get clients coming in. They don't feel that they're outpriced.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you, Raj, for sharing that. It makes me think too, and we'll, like you mentioned, we'll dive into this, just that market analysis and research on a specific niche, because that's going to be really important as well to meet the clientele that you want to work with in the space that they're in. And for example, $300 a session for working with the clients that I work with would be really difficult. And so that, and also it makes me think about taking a step back even more and understanding your why with coaching, which I know John just talked about. You know, what is the reason for you stepping into coaching? What is your purpose in coaching? What value do you have? And I know I talk with so many coaches in our community that are, when they're in the program and they're so much like, oh, I can't charge, I don't have anything to offer. And you do, even if you are, you know, you're halfway through your program and you're still learning and you're still flowing, you have that design the alliance, you have that conversation with your potential clients about that learning space, but also you're creating, the coaching space is such a sacred space, and that in and of itself, and your desire to serve and help a specific community or population it offers value right away. And understanding that your ability and your potential in coaching, I think, is really important, because I think I talk with a lot of coaches that just feel really hesitant and insecure initially, and I was there too, especially when it comes to charging clients. And so I think that's taking a step back, asking yourself those questions. But then the market analysis and research is something that I think is also incredibly valuable, and I don't think a lot of coaches do this, which I think empowers a coach as well to know what they can do, and maybe reach for more, or shift and see how they want to serve that community best with their coaching and their packages. When we are talking about market analysis, Raj, like what does that look like, or what have you done?
I mean, there's so much data out there these days. I mean, you literally can just type into Google and put, you know, how much should I be charging as a coach? There's all kinds of reports out there. There was this lengthy Harvard report. I mean, it's a bit of an old one. I think it was from 2013. Yet there was so much information and data in there on what coaches were charging, organizations, how much. I mean, a lot of this is from the executive coaching world. So one of the things you've got to think about, there are trends and variations, isn't there, in terms of executive coaching tends to often bring a higher hourly rate than, and not always, but than wellness or academic could. Because you're doing academic coaching, you're working with young people, the parents are paying. It's very different to if you're working with a VP of an organization who is on like seven-figure salary. So you got to weigh up those things in terms of trends and themes in the coaching area of expertise that you're in, wellness or academic or executive coaching. But you can Google, there's so much data out there on hourly rates, and you'll hear all kinds of things that will vary from coaches starting out at, you know, $40, $50 an hour, right up to, we've used, you know, $300 an hour. And I guess it's really for you to think about those questions to ask yourself as well. Who are you targeting your coaching towards? You know, what are their average means in terms of what they would like to pay towards a coaching session? What are you looking to make? You know, how does this fit in with other work that you're doing or other areas of focus?